So welcome to my video game Christmas buyer's guide. And I know you're like, what? The Christmas tree is up? You're wearing a Christmas sweater? It's that time, I know. And I wanted to jump ahead of Christmas and give some recommendations to you for your significant other, your friends, for some video game things to buy them this holiday season. So I'm gonna show some video game related things and some things that are not video game related as well, that are kind of related in the world of pop culture. And guys, I will ask you, what are some recommendations that you would give to people watching this video? What kind of things could they buy for their friends, families, and significant others this Christmas? Leave a message down below so everybody can see it and get some other ideas to buy this holiday season.
All right, bro, let's go!
So the first thing I want to start off with is the Analog Pocket. And I picked this up last December. I've been playing it for an entire year. What can I say about it? It's excellent, it's amazing, and this plays Game Boy games, Game Boy Advance, and Game Boy Color. Guess what game I've been playing all year? Yes, just Tetris, the original Tetris, and I can't get enough of it. And this opens up a huge library of games to collect, and as I've said with one of my friends who owns a video game store, the Game Boy is a great place to collect a lot of hidden gems back then. Some of the price points for jumping into the older games are very reasonable, but these are still available and I highly recommend it. And something else that we originally bought last December, and I really thought we're never gonna get our money's worth out of this. And let me say, we did with the PlayStation Portal here. And this is a really great device for playing away from the PlayStation 5. Yes, you can't play it on a bus unless you have really good internet connection, which I'm sure a lot of us do not have. But if you're sitting in the other room and you just want to play in bed, this is the way to go. My wife has logged hundreds of hours with this, and something that I thought we wouldn't get our money's worth out of, we really have, and highly recommended. The screen is very, very nice as well. And some video game recommendations if you have a PlayStation 5. One game you have to get this holiday season for yourself or a significant other is Astro Bot. This game came out of nowhere and I was like, oh, it's gonna be fun like the other ones. Hold on, this is like the big Mario game for the PlayStation. And yes, they've copied a lot of what they did with Mario, but it's so charming and so beautiful. And it's a game I keep coming back to unlock all of the Astrobots. But what an action adventure platformer, out of this world, and highly recommended for this holiday season. And also, if you can still pick it up, the Astro Bot limited edition controller. For the PlayStation owner who has everything, try to track this down. I love this one. A couple of other games I want to recommend is Space Marine 2. This is a really great game for people who are old school gamers, people who like the old Gears of War games. You'll feel right at home with this game. And also, if people are into old style games with a modern look to them, check out Stellar Blade. This is a stellar game and a huge selling game on the PlayStation with a fun story with over the top action sequences. It's a game that you're going to keep on coming back to as well. Now, maybe somebody you know doesn't like the over-the-top action games. Maybe they're more internal. Maybe they like a really good story, or they like a really good novel. I highly recommend Emio, the Smiling Man. This is a detective story where you're trying to find out who the Smiling Man is and how all these murders have happened and how can you get to the bottom of it with a very big twist at the end. A highly recommended game on the Nintendo Switch. It's a Nintendo Switch exclusive, something to highly recommend for people who are like a slower style of game.
Emu?
Now, maybe there's somebody you know who likes horror games, that really likes horror movies, and you're like, man, I'd really like to get them something, but I don't know what kind of game I could get for them. I highly recommend a game that really shocked me this year, and that is Silent Hill 2, which originally came out on the PlayStation 2. It's a full-on remake, highly reviewed, and I played it myself with my wife. My wife was hiding behind a pillow the entire time. She hates horror games. They freak her out too much. And there's some really great psychological horror in here and some great puzzles as well as you explore Silent Hill. Or maybe you know somebody who really likes 8-bit or 16-bit RPGs, who likes all the old Super Nintendo games. I highly recommend Sea of Stars. I just got my physical copy of this. It just finally arrived. Me and my wife finished this game last year and we loved it. And a high recommendation for anybody who wants to step back into the past with beautiful pixelated graphics. The game is beautiful looking and a great soundtrack to boot. Or maybe you know somebody who enjoys strategy games, a little bit slower, tabletop style games. I highly recommend Unicorn Overlord right here by Atlas. This game is a strategy fest that has got so much depth to it, so much character building, so much troop building that you'll be there for 100+ hours strategizing and building up your troops.
Glory to the liberation!
And beautiful side view combat to boot by Vanillaware. This game is sure to impress your strategy friends.
A fine job!
Or maybe you know somebody who wants a more fairy tale style of adventure. I have the game for you, Visions of Mana. Just like the past Mana games, running around an open world, fighting monsters, leveling up.
Don't let it get away.
And just enjoying the beautiful fairy tale adventure with gorgeous graphics and amazing play mechanics.
You're mine!
Okay, for the RPG fans out there, these are really easy to recommend. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's amazing. I really like it a lot more than Final Fantasy VII Remake. I thought this one was a lot more open world, a lot more fleshed out, with a lot more things to do within the world.
Home sweet home, right?
And it's a beautiful return to Final Fantasy VII and all of those original characters.
Take it from here.
And for any Persona fans, they remade Persona 3 with Persona 3 Reload right here. My wife put 97 hours into this game and she loved every second of it. And they've really updated the graphics and made it a really beautiful, brand new Persona game based on that original game. And they do it a lot of justice. And I just love the entire updates they did to the game. And we can't forget about Metaphor ReFantasio, up there as my game of the year. A high recommendation for anybody who loves Atlas, who loves Persona, who loves fantasy style games. This is the game for you. And we are right at the end of it. And my wife and I are doing every single side quest, every single thing we can do. We're trying to get the most out of it that we can. But there's a robust, gigantic adventure to be had in this game. And it really lives up to the hype.
Seeker! Scour!
Or if you're into puzzle games, you have a Nintendo Switch, you're looking for a brand new kind of Zelda-style game, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is a real big recommendation. It is a fun game, but no, there's a lot of puzzles to be had in this game. But it's really fun to see Zelda get her own game finally. Now for hardware, if you have a friend or a significant other, family member who has a PlayStation 5 and they play a lot, there is an alternative, and it's an expensive alternative. I'm not recommending it in that it's a lot of money, but if you're looking for a gift for somebody, there is the PlayStation Pro. Yes, it updates the graphics for a lot of games, gives them 60 frames per second, updates the entire experience for a lot of the older games that came out for the PS5, and it's a recommendation, it's a limited recommendation for somebody who's looking for something for a significant other and a person who has everything, where maybe they don't have a PlayStation 5 Pro, they would probably love it. So I have some book recommendations for video game fans. One of them is Go Straight. This is a fantastic book by Bitmap Books. And this is a book detailing the entire history of side view beat 'em ups. Yes, a genre that I absolutely love, from Golden Axe to Ninja Turtles in the arcade to Splatterhouse. I mean, the list goes on, and maybe you just want to learn about the genre. There's so much to learn here, there's so much to see, and a big high recommendation for Bitmap Books in general, but Go Straight is a really high recommendation. And along with that one is another Bitmap Books game, Run and Gun, a history of on-foot shooters. Yes, all the shooters that a lot of us grew up with are all detailed here, from Contra to Russian Attack to Alien Syndrome to Rambo. The list goes on and on, Rolling Thunder. I love all of these old school games, and I played all of them back in the day, and they do a beautiful job highlighting the games and explaining a little bit about what each game is about. And yeah, you'll learn something here. Even I'm still learning things about video games every single day. Now, this is for the Dungeons & Dragons fans out there, and I'm not bashing on Dungeons & Dragons, but hey, are you looking for a different alternative, a different tabletop game? I have two for you. One of them is based on a long-running RPG series in Japan, an action RPG series, one that I adore, so I'm definitely going to show it, and that is for Ys, Age of Heroes. You can now play a tabletop game in the land of Ys, and I flipped through this book so many times, and I love it that I can finally play a tabletop game in the land of Ys, visit some of those countries, and live some of those adventures that I've been living in the video games for years. It's available right here, Ys, the Age of Heroes. And this is another recommendation that was recommended to me, and I bought it, and I love it, and I'm absolutely memorizing all the rules for Shadow Dark. This really reminds me of what got me into Dungeons & Dragons. It's a small book here. The lettering, I know this sounds really strange to say, the lettering's a little bit bigger. It's all black and white, and it's very easy to read and get into. And that is the selling point here. Just one book to rule them all. You even have all the monsters in the back here, but it's very easy to read through this and quite understand it. It's a lot like Dungeons & Dragons. It's a little bit of a darker style of world, and I kind of really enjoy that. And this is my brand new RPG tabletop game that I'm playing with my friends. Okay, I read this earlier in the year. I just picked it up. It wasn't very expensive. I heard about it on a podcast, and I'm like, well, I like Transformers. So I picked it up. Transformers Volume 1, Robots in Disguise, for the Energon Universe line. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't bought a Transformers comic in a long time. I'm a big G1 fan. But I tell you, what is really interesting about this graphic novel right here is it's a retelling of G1. And a lot of people would be like, okay, they're doing that again. Where this is a lot more adult, the artwork is stellar, and is a lot darker. Like people die in this, and it's really kind of brutal. And it's kind of a more mature telling of the G1 story. And I picked this up in the summertime. I read it in one sitting, and I was like, that was amazing. And then I realized I had to wait a little bit more time to get the next volume because they released them as single issues. I like picking them up as volumes, but big recommendation for anybody who's a Transformers fan. A lot of fun to be had here. And here's something that's an expansion to a game that me and my wife really love, and we play a lot more than what we should, and that is Hero Quest. We've been playing this, The Mage of the Mirror. This is a quest pack. This is an expansion to the main game of Hero Quest. So know that you need to have the main game to be able to play this, but this is a fun expansion here. So when we're not playing video games, we're playing games like this in our off time. I'm just showing this. I normally don't show my toy stuff that I buy or anything like this, but I was so excited to get this. And this is Dino King right here, and this is for the Transformers, and I had to pick this up. This is from Transformers Victory, and they brought this out. It's 6 robots that transform into dinosaurs, and I love this kind of thing. I'll just show the back of the box there, right here. And I'm a big Transformers fan, so when I learned that Hasbro was releasing this, it's a little bit expensive, I'll say that. But if you're looking for a Transformers gift to give to a family member or a significant other, I highly recommend picking this up because if you're an old school Transformers fan, you're really gonna enjoy this quite a bit.
Do you understand? Yes! We must kill all those who get in our way, understand? Yes!
My last recommendation right here is a novel. Yes, a novel. It's that novel, and that is for The Lacrimosa of Donna. Yes, this is telling the story of Ys 8 in novel form, and I gotta say, I normally don't like this kind of thing, but I've been reading this quite a bit, and I'm like, this is really well written, and they really care about the characters and Adol's adventures.
Let's protect this place! Keep attacking!
I've got to say that they've done a lot of justice, and I'm recommending this because I'm an Ys fan, and I don't think this got enough hype behind it that there actually is a novelization of Ys 8.
Let's get off this island alive!
So guys, those are just some fun recommendations for some Christmas gifts to give to a friend's family, significant others. Guys, what would you recommend for people looking for gifts to buy each other this year? Let me know down below, and everybody else can see them as well, and maybe get some great gift ideas for this holiday season. So anyways, guys, until next time.